children. We have one son and two daughters. Two of them are adults. The boy is 25, the girl is 21. Actually, the boy is getting married. Is getting married this.
Let's share the screen.
Yes, it is on the screen here. That is us. We are celebrating 27 years. And that is Jaira, our firstborn son, who is 25, getting married to Johnny this month on 18th, which we thank God for. And then we have Shalom in red here, who is 21, and she's at university. And then Isa, who is 14, going to senior 4. And we are members of St. Francis Chapel, Makerere University, and we are part of the Marriage Fellowship, where we are former members, actually coordinators of the overall Marriage Fellowship. We participate in premarital counseling and marital counseling. I've also been part of the chapel administration before as head of laity. Julian works for Provide and Equip, a consulting firm that we founded, where she works as an executive director. And I'm right now finalizing my PhD in digital health. And I've had experience working with the UN, WHO, UNICEF. I've also worked for...
Sorry, Ndugu Bagyendera, people have not seen the screen.
Hey.
We may want to share it again.
Okay, let me try to share the screen.
Yes.
I'm sorry.
That's okay.
Is it now shared?
Yes, very good. It's coming. It's on now.
Okay, right.
You can just rewind and come again. Yes.
Oh, so I was saying Moses and John Bagyendera, that's a picture when we were celebrating 25 years. And we've been married for since 1996. And that one is Jaira and Johnny, they are our firstborn son, who is getting married actually on 18th of this month. Also is winding up on his master's. Then the girl in red is Shalom Bagyendera, who is 21 and she's at university. And Isa Bagyendera, who the small girl, 14, who is joining her S4 coming May, or grade 10. And I mentioned that we've been part and parcel of St. Francis Marriage Fellowship, participating in premarital and marital counseling. And of course, I talked about where we work. And I think when you mentioned something, I was saying I'm currently finishing my PhD in digital health, having had a break from UN, WHO, UNICEF, and USAID, where I worked as basically specialist in digital health. We are also farmers. We do agriculture. My wife calls it apiculture, where we do, we have beekeeping, we do forestry, but we also have a small farm where we sell the usual things like matoke, pawpaws, and others. Yes, so that's what we are. Yes.
I was adding to the list of hustlers that we also do some rentals. So we are hustlers. We tell people we are all round. One time our daughter asked us that what if people hear that we are matoke sellers? We said, yes, we sell matoke too. Thank you.
Okay, basically that's what we are. We are born again. I accepted the Lord when I was in S1 around 1985. And Julian accepted the Lord when she was much younger in P6. So we've been working with the Lord, and he's been good in our marriages, learning one another, facing challenges, but talking about them and praying and trusting God that we signed a covenant to stand, and we look forward. Even as we go into the category of senior citizens, you know, when you are 50 plus, you are no longer a young man. So we praise the Lord for the invitation, Reverend. Thank you very much for the time. Over.
Okay, excellent. The Bagyenderas, that picture of, I think, your 25th wedding anniversary. You don't look as though you have gone towards senior citizenship. And yeah, we like your hustles, the different hustles that you have, academia, UN, and beekeeping, farming, matoke, whichever. We praise God for that. Hallelujah. For your 27 years doing life together, as someone commented. Wow, that's indeed not a joking matter at all. And so our topic tonight, candidate. Now we change from engineer to topic tonight, understand language. We thank God you have the experience of 27 years of understanding each other. But allow me call you Moses and Julian for tonight. Moses and Julian, what is a love language? And could you name it or name them for us?
You're breaking. Is it us or it is you?
Yeah, it might be me. I've taken off the video, but our question would be, what is a love language? Could you name them or could you name it? What is a love language? Yes, thank you.
Okay. Julian tells me that we need to stay on. I was wondering whether the issue is the video. Yes, I'll be handling part and Julian also handling part. Basically, when you talk about the love language, basically these are the ways that romantic partners express and experience love. And basically, you know, Dr. Chapman defines that love languages, and normally there are 5 love languages. The way you express love. And when you talk about love languages, is not the way you want to be loved, but the way your partner needs to be loved. In other words, you have a love language, but also your partner has a love language. The way I feel to be, the way I want to be loved is different from what Julian wants to be loved. And in most cases, you want to show Julian how you want to be loved, not what she wants to be loved. And once you do that, we call that, you go irrelevant. You start hitting wrong points. So basically, we have 5 love languages. And there's literature written about the 5 love languages. We have the words of affirmation. We have acts of service. We have quality time. We have giving of gifts and physical touch. Those are the 5 love languages. Basically, I'm sharing the screen. I hope even as we start, you are able to categorize the 5 love languages, and there's a lot of literature that talks about these 5 languages. Words of affirmation, what does that mean? Verbal compliments that express love and appreciation. That means that your wife, your husband, your girlfriend, your boyfriend, when you speak words of affirmation, it speaks to him. Then secondly, there is acts of service, and this is any acts that eases the burden of responsibility. Acts of service is like, if my wife's love language is acts of service, if she's mopping a house or working on dishes, and I come and stand by her and I help her do that, that means that there is love. Then there is quite a time. Basically, this focused and divided attention spent together, not on WhatsApp, not on watching TV, but together. Quite a time. Someone wants to be near you, you talk, how are you? How has it been? Basically, trying to show interest in your partner. Someone that can speak to him or her, that's a love language. But there's also giving gifts, tangible symbols that reflect your thoughtfulness and effort. as small as a sweet, as small as a hanky, it speaks to some people. Then there is physical touch. And when we talk about physical touch, it is a non-sexual touch. We say non-sexual touch so that you don't always relate physical touch to sex. Non-physical touch that reinforces your presence. So those are 5 love languages. And we also talk about how to express them. I think I'm projecting that, and even what happens when there is a conflict or after conflict. So basically, those are the 5 love languages. You might find that your partner majorly enjoys 2 or 3 of these. So you have to know that your partner loves acts of service, or your partner loves gifts. And it takes time to study them and to understand one another. Of course, there are also scientific ways how you can do tests between couples and you get to know the 5 love languages, or what speaks love to your partner. Thank you.
Excellent. And excellent, Ndugu Moses. You've led us to the next question, and you could decide whoever answers it. But it's nice to know that a love language is the expression and experience of love. And it's not about how I want to be loved, but how actually my spouse wants to be loved. So excellent that we have 5 love languages. But Moses and Julian, how does one really get to know their personal love language? And could you give examples of yourselves? I'll try and recall mine, but we could start with yours.
Sorry?
Okay, did you get me?
Yes, I thought you were still going on. So you said how you express how you discover, right?
How you express.
Yes, yes. How does one get to know their love language, or their personal love language? And could you give an
Okay. All right. Yes.
example of yourself?
All right. First of all, it's very important to, one, identify your spouse's love language. And you can do that at times by seeing the thing that they usually complain about most, you know, or the thing they usually do and they think they are expressing love. And for you, you are wondering, why do they do this? It doesn't make any sense to me. Such times, something that you usually do to express love, sorry, or something you usually.
You discovered maybe your love language. Thank you.
Yes, the first step is to examine what your spouse usually complains about or usually does for you. If someone is always buying you gifts in and out, they are buying you gifts there, you know, most likely that is their love language. And or if someone is always helping you around, helping you to do little things, put your socks in order, organize this, most likely it is their act of service. So it comes from something that people usually do, or something they are complaining about. Maybe they are always complaining that you'd never make time for them. And you wonder, but I'm, you know, making all this money for you, for the family. What does she want from me? You know, that means that your spouse's love language is quality time. And Dr. Chapman suggested some 3 ways how to discover. First of all, there is an online test by Dr. Chapman that you can take. I think that is the quickest and easiest way for .com generation. So you can take the test, and he suggests one is you look at what does your spouse do or fail to do that hurts you most or deeply. That can tell you. And what do you most often request your spouse to do? And also the little things you usually do to express love. In most cases, you find you're trying to express within your love language. So now what you need to do, the biggest challenge is to transfer from that to your spouse now. So you study what your spouse usually does or complains about, so that then you know that is it. But the most definite way is that you can take an online test.
Yes, I'll just give one more example. You've had men say, I've bought everything to my wife. I've given her a car. I give her Kameza money. I give her money to do whatever she wants, but she's never satisfied. That means that the man is looking at his own love language as receiving gifts, okay? So to the fact that the man's love language is receiving gifts, he's trying to transfer his love language to his wife, maybe who wants quieter time. And you hear women saying that, I don't need these things, I just want to be with you. That shows you that actually the man's love language is gifts because he wants to give them. They speak to him. But the woman's love language is quieter time. That's how, for example, many of these things we know, we get to know them by trying and knocking and coming back to senses. You will hear people say that after marriage, they begin asking questions, where was I looking? That means that his or her expectations were not met. Some are going to say, oh, I knocked, natomera. Some are going to say, is there true love? Do men really love? And you hear ladies saying, I don't know why I got married. Maybe she got married thinking that she's going to be the husband is going to be touching her, but she's married this gentleman whose love language was maybe giving gifts, and he's just every day buying things for the wife, but the wife wants physical touch.
And in most cases, these things were being done during courtship. So the lady comes looking forward for more. But then for men, some men, they think, now this is a done deal. They focus on another project. This one is like accomplished. And they are moving on. So for you, you come yearning for more of the touches, more of going out. That you find someone is, each time you ask about going out, they start counting bags of cement, and then you are beaten.
But also, again, you know, when you're getting married, you have expectations. And I think people who have gone through marriage expectations, you discuss about expectations. Basically, what did you anticipate to see in your marriage? Or what do you think your wife will do to you? And it shows love. Some men will hear them saying, I want a wife who is going to serve me. Serve me tea, serve me food. Not only bring food on the table, but even serve on my plate. So that will show you that those are what? Acts of service and quality time. Then you hear a woman saying that, oh, I want a man who's going to care for me. Give me money for this, give me gifts, buy me a car. And then you realize that, oh, this one's love language is gifts. So once you've had some talk, you will see someone's expectations. And in most cases, actually, your expectation is maybe what you didn't receive when you are growing up, or what you saw your parents do and you appreciate. The people would say, yes, our father paid all the school fees, took us to the best schools, but he was never there for us. He never visited us. We never played football together. I'm looking forward to do this with my children. So that shows you that the man's love language is quality time. And there are people who feel good when they receive hugs. Of course, you know that many people who come from the West, whenever you're greeting, you hug. But you find that there are people who want to hug, where a hug speaks love. When you don't hug them, there's something lacking. I don't know how many men like hugs and whatever, but majorly ladies want those physical touches. Not necessarily that you're touching me to lead to something, to lead to 20 minutes, in case someone understands that term, or to lead to S, but just being there, touching her, feeling good. And so you find that one is her love language. Thank you. I think you also asked a question, how did you discover? Hello?
Yes, indeed. You can respond to that too. Yes, please. How do you discover? You can address it a little bit, but you can throw some more light.
Yeah, yes. I think over time, I've realized that Julian's greatest love gift is acts of service. I mean, helping her, because you would, from the word go, you would see that.
Go ahead, sir.
She wants me to be around, help her, but also quality time. I think Julian will find it very difficult to attend a party without me. She always wants me, go with her, sit with her, sit close. Not only sitting, but just sitting close. So that is quite a time and physical touch. But, and I think for me, it has been what?
Yes, for Moses, one, he likes gifts. Gift speaks language to him, and for him, it even matters how it's packaged. And so he wants those good, well-packaged, expensive gifts. That is his love language. And words of affirmation, being able to appreciate him in public, to appreciate what he does. So that is what I discovered, because actually he's also good at that, good at appreciating, because whenever I come from a salon, he will not miss that I've done a new hair style. So he will remember and appreciate, and I say, wow. Or when I put on a dress and it's nice, in most cases he will appreciate, and I know, yes, he loves this. Thank you.
All right, thank you, Moses and Julian. There is excitement in the house. People are wondering what Kameza money is, but I guess that is a love language for some people. You will throw that. I think that's, would you describe that as receiving gifts? But as you consider responding to that Kameza money issue, someone is asking or would like to know, is it a must or is it necessary to know my spouse's love language? What is the fuss about knowing or understanding my spouse's love language? Can't we just move along like that? Thank you.
Yes, like Moses had said, really, we used to call it going irele in secondary school. When they ask you about Ngoni and you start saying, assuming it was Maji rebellion, So we used to say you have gone irrelevant. So you surely go irrelevant. You become irrelevant. You are speaking off point, and then you think you are putting in a lot of energy, but someone is not appreciating it because it's not speaking to them. So that is why it's really very important to understand your spouse's love language, so that you're able to meet their needs. Because after marriage, now I should be busy like daily saying, okay, what can I do for him that will lighten up his day, that will please him, that will speak love to him. And he should be doing the same. Otherwise, it becomes a very dull relationship. With time, then you start even going apart. You've had people saying, I no longer love her. I no longer love him, because they stopped doing those nice things they used to do for each other. They are no longer kind. They are taking each other for granted. So all those come in, and it becomes you start now enduring the relationship rather than enjoying it. So it's important to keep rekindling the light and doing those things that really turn your friend on.
I'll just add on something small about Kameza money. And we've come from far. There are times where Julian has earned more money, actually much more money than I do. And there are times I've earned also quite substantial. But even when Julian has earned money and the money is in a joint account, I realize that she feels good if I fuel her car.
Yes.
Or if I go to the bank get money and say, this is money for your fuel, this money for your upkeep. Yet we have 100% access to the joint account. There is money which we've put there from both of our hands, but she would feel good if I do that. Then there's a time I would say, but if you want money, why don't you go to the bank? You have the ATM and get money and do whatever you want with. Say, no, I feel more loved if I'm given, if you plan for me, if you think about her. So it is very, very critical. It's very important. Yeah, Kameza money, it is a thing that is very common now. For us, to the fact that we have a joint account, when we get money, we know specifically over years, we have lived on budget. We know how much money we spend on fuel. We know how much money we spend on food every month or every week. We know, but we also give ourselves extra money. So when I go to the bank, and most times I'm the one who does that, I know that Julian's car needs 100,000 and you need 100,000. Then we have money for buying groceries. We have money for paying workers, and we are able to live within that. But again, we go ahead and give ourselves extra money. In case I want to take my friends out for coffee, I should have money in my pocket, or in case she wants to do that. So much as we live on budget, but we give ourselves allowances so that everyone has got money for just to eat, just to enjoy, because we work for it. Because many times you can make money, but other people are eating your money, but you are not sharing it and supporting one another. So if you talk about Kameza, we all put on Kameza. When if she goes there, she'll give me money. And if I go there, I also give her money to make sure that we have enough to live on.
But in case someone does not totally understand what Kameza money is, it's typical to, especially housewives who stay home, and the husbands keep leaving money, little money for food, 1,000, 5,000, and for them that is where they save from, for salon, for other personal needs. So for them it's a big issue, that Kameza money. I even don't know how people manage to sustain that daily. You have to have cash and leave it there. So it's like you are living on a daily basis, but for them it's like a saving scheme in a way.
Okay, thank you so much, Engineer Moses and Mama Julian. And today is a very dynamic evening whereby we've been like a panel, and there is this beautiful PowerPoint. I would like to give you maybe 7 to 10 minutes and you can finish up the PowerPoint, then we'll have some questions responding. Is that all right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes, basically, actually, we've mentioned many things about what we have prepared as we talked, but maybe I'll just say what we've not touched.
Excellent, excellent.
There's a link there.
Yes,
where
here
you can take the quiz.
Yes, there's that link of 5 love languages where you can take a quiz to know your love language. And here we say, write down what you think is primary love language of your spouse. List other 4 in order of importance, then discuss. You know, sometimes you don't just guess. We need to ask what speaks love to you. And there's some people who say, whatever you do, who are not transparent enough, but we need to be open and say, oh, this speaks love to me. When you do this, or when you don't do this, I don't feel loved. And yes, go ahead.
Yes, Dr. Chapman pointed out that there are 2 kinds of people who are difficult to discover their love language. One, those whose emotional love tank has been full for a long time. Someone is really doing good. They are giving you gifts, quality time. Your love tank is quite full that you're not sure. I wonder what my love language is, because your spouse is really doing almost everything. So those ones may find it difficult to discover their love language. But then there are those where the love tank has been so empty for so long that they can't even remember what speaks love to them. So those two categories, it can be challenging. If your spouse falls in those, it's good to examine and say, is their love tank full? What little love things have you been doing to deposit the love, to be nice to the girls? Because for us ladies, we love TLC, the tender loving care. So when you talk to me harshly, when you do something unkind to me, all those, it's like you're withdrawing from the love tank. But when you do something little, bring me a flower, wow. Send me a lovely SMS, wow. All those keep depositing in the love tank, the little things you do. So if you've not been depositing for a long time and it's kind of dry, then it becomes very hard for someone to identify their love language. But in any case, in either case, you can still try to look back, even in those days when you were courting, what is that thing that would lighten you up, what your spouse would do, and that would lighten you up, and you say, wow, I look forward to being with this friend of mine so that we stay for some time. Or what did you say that really made them desire you? So it's important to think about some of those things that you used to do, in case right now you cannot remember. And what I've discovered that at times what you are missing most now, even if it may not be a primary love language, it can become like a big need, and it's like a love language. For instance, if you have a spouse that you come back home together from work, after work, you know, these days, in most cases, both of us work outside home. You come home, they sit and read a newspaper. You start washing dishes. The baby is crying, you're doing this, the baby. So even if acts of service is not your primary love language, you crave that so much, and you start thinking, if he really loved me, couldn't he help me, at least with children, as I wash the dishes? Or couldn't he help, you know, clear the table as I'm doing ABC? So at times what you're missing, it becomes kind of your love language, because there is a lot of need in that. Yeah, thank you. I think.
Yes, just add on that. Actually, most challenges in marriage these days, you find people saying, as we've mentioned, that I no longer feel loved. She does not listen to me. She does not share with me. I don't feel I'm the head of the family. Or we have this saying, like Princess Diana said, that our marriage is crowded. It's crowded by many people, the in-laws and friends. We don't make decisions. So you hear complaints over and over again. And if you're careful enough, you will know that actually these complaints are the love languages of the one complaining. If someone says, you no longer give me space, that means that the person wants what? The person wants quieter time. And you hear also some men or women saying that, oh, he doesn't speak good of me at all. Or you're attending a wedding and she says, oh, that guy, he always talks well of his wife, even before people. So you find that this person actually appreciates words of affirmation.
And on that, I know one friend who stopped making special dishes at home. She said, whether I make or not, it doesn't make a difference to my husband. The husband wouldn't like verbalize the appreciation. So she stopped. She said, whether I do anything special or not, whether I go to the salon, it's like he hasn't seen, so why should I bother? So she had kind of given up many things because the words of affirmation were not coming out.
Then the issue of physical touch, you know, this one is affected by culture. There are many men who say, oh, if they see me holding my wife's hand, don't they know she's my wife? So you find that there's always a distance. You've also gone to some churches where you find that men sit alone and wives sit alone. So if someone's love language is a physical touch, the person is dying. So it is very, very critical that you get to learn your friend's love language. And over time, you will discover it, and then you will stop being irrelevant in marriage. You speak. I mean, you can be together an hour in a day, but I'm just speaking love language. What speaks to you? In other words, I'm putting a lot in the love tank. I'm putting a lot in the love tank. Or I can also be with you and I keep firing what? Missing empties. So you then you lose. Someone is there, but they feel more stressed than when you're there. So it is very, very important that you learn, understand the love language. It takes time. As we've said, you can go online and do some tests, but think over time talking, if you're talking to your partner or your spouse, you're able to know what speaks love to him or her. Thank you.
Okay, excellent. Our dear panelists, thank you so much for those wonderful nuggets that you've been dropping for us. And I know this being a men's fellowship, as much as we welcome so many ladies, I like the way, of course, our wives and others who come on board. There's that love language called physical touch. And I like that, you, for lack of better word, you explained it and said this is non-sexual touch being a language, all right? All right, and so someone was warning the Brothers Union and Sisters Union about the S word, but could you throw some light on how knowing your spouse's love language will enhance the bedroom ministry? Any of you could take it on.
Yeah, I liked what someone said in the chat. We have spent many years not speaking love. We need more lessons. You see, when you speak the love language, then you find things ready for the bedroom ministry. I mean, if I've been helping her to work, or if I've been kind, if I've been talking to her nicely, saying the good words, maybe sending a text. Today there are challenges where we are busy talking to the world, but we're not talking to one another. You've seen husband and wife, they are busy sending texts, or posting things, WhatsApp to others, but they are neglecting each other, even in the car. One is driving, another one is texting instead of talking. So once you've talked the love language and the love tank is full, you will find it in the bedroom ministry. But when you've been misfiring, or there's no word of affirmation, no kind word, no gift in a long time, then you will find the ministry dry. So what you do, what you will invest there, you will harvest when you go there. But when you put nothing there, you will find it dry. There are many people who just do it indeed as ministry. When God has called you for ministry, whether you feel like going or not, you go. Like clergy. If you wake up Sunday morning, I don't feel like going to church, you have to, because people are waiting for you. So you would find that even in the bedroom ministry, there are people who just go there because it is routine, it is activity. But we need to invest in the love language of your partner so as to harvest the fruit when you go there.
Yes. Maybe if I may add that, I like Mark Gunga's video, which says, be nice to the girl. So it's very, very important for the ladies, the TLC, the emotional beat is what really puts them on. So once you touch the heart, then the rest is all good. You'll find everything ready and yes. But also if you hurt the girl, that was I think Muros is the one who used to say that a woman is an incubator, that what you put in her, she will incubate and even multiply. So if you put in bitterness in her, it's like she can incubate it until it even becomes bigger. But if you sow those little love things, you can incubate and you would get a lot more than you even expected. Actually, you will get as many times as you want, as long as you touch the heart. Thank you.
And this one is saying also, be nice to the boy child too. Yes, yes, that's critical. Sometimes the boy child is forgotten, as we know, and we shouldn't just be on the receiving end, but we should also try to reciprocate. So if you're nice to the girl, then you should also be nice to the boy, and of course you will appreciate what the boy likes, and you give, because marriage is about giving. By the way, we always talk about Jesus Christ loving the church and dying for the church. The Bible doesn't say that actually the church loved Jesus. The church nailed Jesus on the cross. The disciples, one of them betrayed him, another one actually took off from him. But Paul says we should love our wives as Christ loved the church. That means whether you're receiving or not, you will love.
And on that, I think our culture prepares ladies so much to be givers. Do this for the man, take care of him, take care of his stomach. They even say whenever he wants, give him. They really prepare you to meet the needs. So in most cases, ladies really go out of their way to do most of these other things. But then it kind of prepares the man to be, okay, I hear in Uganda calling it sajarat and what, and taking yourself also as a king in a home. And there are even some men who smile outside. As soon as they reach home, no smiling, no talking. You have to be a serious man, So I think culturally, why we emphasize that being nice to the girl, culturally we are taught to look out for those things. Of course, not say that with time they also maybe out of a lot of heart and resolve conflicts, at times the ladies give up. But ladies usually love with emotions, and they put in a lot until maybe they are disappointed a lot, or their trust is betrayed, and then they kind of give up. But you're right, we have to work both ways. But that famous chapter in Ephesians 5:22, it was wives submit. I think men need more respect and submission more than love. Whereas for us women, it says love your wives. Love is a critical need for us.
Just also to add that we should also remember about the covenant. I think a covenant has consequences. I think all of us know people who have gone through divorce, people who have gone through separation. The consequences are always bad, grievous. So I think men, since this is a men's forum, we should remember that marriage is a covenant. And a covenant is blessed by God. And when challenges come, even when you don't feel loved the way you would appreciate, but we need to remember that it is a covenant, and the covenant is to stay. That's why we say for better, for worse. And these days, people don't want to think about for worse. They say for better, for better. Or they don't want to think about richer, poorer. But these are things that we always say in joyous moments. But we don't reflect about them when challenges come. We have irreconcilable differences. Haven't we heard about that? I no longer love her. So we need to remember the covenant, to know that the one who made this covenant is able to help you go through it. Thank you.
So, someone has put a comment in the chat, and rightly so, that it's Dr. John, that the culture teaches ladies to do things that might actually not matter to the boy child. They forget people have different love languages, which is very true. Recently, we were doing the Building Your Marriage booklet. Is it?
Home builders.
Home builders. And when we were discussing, I know one of the husbands was saying, my wife keeps doing things and she thinks she's submitting. And I tell her, they are cultural things. Actually, to be straightforward, I think she was always kneeling for him. And she's from Central, where kneeling is really highly valued. But he was saying, me, I've told her that is not what I need, but she insists on doing that. What I need, what I've told her she doesn't do, but she insists on this needing, which for me doesn't speak to me. So I think it's indeed very important to understand what to use for what. But of course, he was saying, I'm raising a Uganda nation. If my daughters don't see me kneeling for you, they will not appreciate that. But for him, he was saying, it was like, this is offside. You'd rather do the other things we talk about and leave this other kneeling part. So it's true that some cultural things may not be applicable. Thank you.
All right, wonderful. Thank you so much, Moses and Julian. Bagyendera, I like your last slide, has so many languages saying thank you. And so I'll add another one, which is Siyabonga, all the way from South Africa. Thank you so much. It's been such a rich time. The online Church of Uganda leadership team is preparing, I think, an outing one day, and we know who the other speakers are destined to be after hearing you tonight. But thank you so much. I see no questions, but you hit on some comments that have come up in the chat, and I like the way you have zeroed in on Ephesians chapter 5, and it seems Jesus was already hinting on the love languages. You know, husbands, love your wives, and Julian, you've expressed that how that love can be, shown, and then he told wives, submit to your husbands. I think most husbands generally, the words of affirmation and the respect and the gifts make a big difference. And so you've also touched the aspect of culture. And I think for all of us Christian marrieds, we need to demystify culture and apply the gospel to culture. And, you know, in America and elsewhere, the men will hold, you know, their wives because, you know, maybe they know that's the language, you know, the physical touch, you know, but hey, I take culturally here, you may not necessarily do that. What will they think of me? But I think we can find ways to express that. And so I would just like to ask you to just give one final comment to us, and then I'll invite Professor John to wrap it up for us. But there is a question as you prepare to give your final comment. Just hold on, and I give you this final question. I think you've addressed it, but you know, you can maybe underline it. Couples know they are underscore that a little bit more. Brother X's wife. Brother X would like to know his wife's love language. How can we help Brother X to know his wife's love language? And then finally, is it hard to know your spouse's love language? Why or why not? Hope you've got them, Moses and Julian.
Yes, we have. Yeah, regarding how to know the love language, the simplest manual way is to observe what they usually request for. If they always want to go with you out, they usually want you to maybe help them out with some housework, things they usually either do or complain about. Those will guide you. They'll serve as leads. Or what you see her eyes lighten up, they're like, wow, you know, you bring this little gift, it's something small, but they, you know, they'll even talk about you to neighbors everywhere. Oh, my husband did this for me. Then you'll know, wow. So gifts is their love language. So usually you'll see what, even when you try to remember in courtship, there are those different gifts maybe you tried, but maybe this one time, maybe you spent with her this time and she was like, wow. Or something she complains about. I'll share an example. In our sitting room, we have a sitter for two and a long sitter. So whenever my husband comes and tired, he wants, you know, now we are almost empty nest with one child. So he wants to relax in the long sitter. But for me, I'm like, this is our seat, I need you to sit here near. But so such a thing, when you see someone raising that, why are you sitting, far away, you'll know that, wow, quality time must be their language. So you can do that, but also just Google online, you say love language test, it will come. And then you're able to take that test and do it. I think that is definite.
Yeah. Just.
Thank you once again. Go ahead, Moses. Go ahead.
Yes, I think men, we need to remember, since this is a men's fellowship, that we are accountable. There is this verse, I'm forgetting where it is, maybe you remind me, which says that many of us, our prayers are not answered because we were not working upright in our families or with our wife. There's a verse to that effect. But also,
That's First Peter.
I'm sorry?
That's First Peter.
Yes.
It's First Peter chapter 3, I think, or somewhere there.
Yes. So it means that your progress will be affected when you're not moving in harmony with your wife. But also, the Bible reminds us that we are high priests. And I think when we are doing premarital counseling, we always talk about it, that men, we are high priest. So what should a high priest do? A high priest will have to make sure that your house is in order with the Lord. There is prayer going on. There is reading of word. The children go to school. I mean, to church and to Sunday school. But also financially and other ways, your family is catered for, so that you are a holistic high priest. However, that does not mean that the lady is just there folding her hands. We also have Proverbs 31 lady who supports the husband and the family. So, but it is very, very important that this is a covenant that I made. So I'm more accountable to God actually than even my wife herself. I will be asked questions. How did you mentor? How did you handle the gift that I gave you? Did you mistreat the gift? Did you care for the gift? Did you draw the gift to me? So I think we'll be asked these questions. We'll be held accountable before the Lord on how we handled what God entrusted in our care. Thank you.
Thank you so much once again, Moses and Julian. Every good teacher wonders, will my teaching be implemented? But as you've seen in the chat, there's that wonderful couple that is ready to unleash their love languages or meet love languages. Excellent. 20 years ago, I was dating my wife, and we would meet somewhere at Full Gospel Church, to pray, and then we'd go to Select, those who remember Select Bugolobi. But, she told me one time, all I need is time. And, I've been so busy lately, but I tried to steal her away for an outing during the week. And, I didn't tell anything. I just said, oh, no, we need to pass here and there. But, she didn't say anything because it was meeting her love language when she finally discovered we were going to, a restaurant. So thank you so much for rekindling us on the love languages. And I would just like to say, may God bless you and continue to richly use you. I think you are just beginning. After 27 years, you are just beginning because you are such a great resource to all of us. I now invite our elder, Professor John Chitayimbwa, to give a vote of thanks.
Sorry, just 1 minute before he comes in. The Lord brought to my mind this quick verse, Ephesians 5:28, that says, the second part says, he who loves his wife loves himself. I think God was not wrong to say that if you love your wife the right way, it is you to benefit actually. You are doing yourself a favor. So I think that can motivate you to know that after all, you are a beneficiary. And we are blessed to talk to you when tomorrow. Actually, we are traveling to attend our son's wedding. So we almost canceled because of this, mix up in packing and the like. But we thank you that you can bless us even as we pray. You can pray for us so that we travel safely. Thank you very much.
Okay, Reverend Professor Dr. John.
Wow, and wow. Thank you so much. Just maybe before they go, our lovely couple, Moses and Julian, we just wanted them to address this question. This